Hello and welcome to Last Time On. This is the podcast for people who want to watch all of this prestige television, but who's got time for all of this?
You know I don't.
Time is an illusion.
I'm Xhafer.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Victor.
And we're talking Stargate SG1.
And we are the Goon Squad. Yeah, woo! Goon Squad!
This is episode 5 we're watching. It's season 3, episode 19, New Ground. But before we get to that, in what has become a weird tradition for me in podcasting sci-fi TV shows, there are rumors of a reboot happening soon.
Yes,
I'm taking full credit for this. This is because of us.
Yeah, I've been meaning to bring this up. When I was doing research before our first episode of Last Time On, I came across something from Deadline Hollywood saying that Stargate is in the works for a reboot. And this was pretty recent. Let me pull it up. I think it was earlier this year. There's no details on it, but yeah, Deadline Hollywood, dated April 14th, 2023. It basically says that due to the fact that Amazon spent $8.5 billion acquiring MGM, that they're in the works of rebooting pretty much all of MGM's IPs, which, I mean, makes sense. If they spend that much money acquiring MGM, they're going to want to make some money off their purchase. So it just says Stargate. It doesn't say specifically SG1, but among the titles listed there, they specifically listed Stargate along with RoboCop, Legally Blonde, and Barbershop that are in development. It doesn't say if it's going to be more movies or if it's going to be a TV series or what, but Stargate something is currently in development right now over at Amazon Studios. So I thought it might be fun
anything comes of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense logically that they would. I mean, you don't spend that much money and just let it sit on a shelf. So they got to do something with it. And I don't care if it's a video game or whatever. Just do something with it. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, I thought it might be fun to do kind of like what you guys do on the Who Are You podcast and do a little fan casting. Like, who do you think would be ideal in the reboot? Just to say they're doing SG1. Who, let's go around the table and who would you pick? Who is your actor for the new Colonel O'Neill? Xhafer.
Oh, this is so easy. This is like, listener, this idea was pitched to Ben and I maybe 10 minutes ago. And both Ben and I immediately were like, I have the perfect recast. I'm curious to know if it's the same person. We'll see. It'd be really funny if it is.
I'm kind of worried that you sniped out my same thing.
We'll see. Because if I'm going to recast Colonel O'Neill, I need someone who can do a bit of a prankster, but still be a serious military person. And there is someone who comes to mind very vividly when I think of that specifically in a sci-fi setting. And it's Katie Sackhoff.
Ooh, that's a controversial choice. I mean, it's not, but it would be.
Did Katie Sackhoff get canceled? I don't know. I don't keep up with
this
stuff, guys.
I mean, I'm talking about it'll piss off all the
you're making it woke now. Yeah. O'Neill's exactly. A man. Everyone ever named O'Neill has been a man forever.
There will be so many YouTube videos by angry basement dwellers.
My new office is upstairs. I'm not a basement dweller anymore. There's a window.
Score.
I think Katie Sackhoff's a great choice.
That is a good choice, yeah.
I'm not too concerned about the gender change, mostly because in our limited experience with O'Neill, I don't think there's anything distinctly male about his character.
I
mean, that's the only time I ever worry about that stuff. Like, if a character is not distinctly male or distinctly female, like there's nothing crucial to their story that involves their gender, then why does it matter what gender they are in a recast? It doesn't.
Yeah. Katie Sackhoff can be sad that her son died and
that would work
replaces him with a
fine.
weird alien kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
She could be just like Jack O'Neill, Jacqueline O'Neill. Ooh,
Ooh,
that's her new
yeah,
name.
that's it.
Yeah,
Got it.
and she could have a spouse. She could have a wife that we never hear from. We mention once and then never see again.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
That'd be awesome.
So Ben, was that your pick?
No.
Fantastic.
See, and this is I was worried about this, and I actually I had a backup pick in case you picked my pick, because as Xhafer knows from our previous podcast, Draft the Universe, where we would pick 5 things from a random topic, I would always have a list of 15 things in case every one of my 2 other co-host choices were on my list.
Ben, you're the kind of guy who overpacks on a trip, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to be there for 3 days. Well, I need to have at least 7 pairs of socks. Yep. So the thing we need for our Colonel O'Neill, maybe we've got somebody who's, resourceful, somebody you can count on, that if they end up on an alien planet without a whole lot of resources, they can still get the job done. You need a MacGyver.
Oh, no.
So Lucas Till is my pick.
Is that the new MacGyver?
That is the new MacGyver.
That
which,
would be
if you didn't
meta
know,
as fuck. I love it.
there was a new MacGyver show. It ran for almost 100 episodes.
No
Good
way.
for them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
is that more than the original MacGyver?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think that thing went on forever.
Yeah.
My aunt was a huge MacGyver fan, and I remember she recorded VHSs of she had a hand recorded VHS of every episode. She took meticulous notes on every episode of MacGyver.
That is hardcore.
Notebooks filled with like plot stuff and everything.
Yeah. So the original MacGyver went for 139 episodes. So all like about an extra season or so. So not bad. Yeah. The thing about Lucas Till, a little too young to be our actual Colonel O'Neill, but it would be a fun choice. I thought it would be an inspired pick. If I'm going for who I actually, like, in my mind thinking, all right, who can play grizzled, I've seen things, military veteran, but also can crack a joke, can, get down with the goofy? Eric Bana.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I loved him as a Romulan.
he was great in Star Trek 2009. We've seen him in really he's in one of my favorite war films, Black Hawk Down. But then I've also seen him in things like Funny People, where he's actually really, really funny in a movie that's not very funny. But that's not the point. It's a movie about funny people. It is not a funny movie. I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
As somebody who did stand up for a while, I'm just like, oh yeah, I know this. Like, we're all cracking jokes because we're dead inside. Yeah, so I think Eric Bana, right about in that right age range, can totally handle it.
See, this is how I know I'm in the presence of podcasting professionals, because you guys, I gave you guys like 10 minutes notice about this idea, and you fucking just, wow, you've milked it in that time. I got nothing. I just say Oscar Isaac over here. That's all I got.
I'd watch Oscar Isaac do. Well, I have to say almost anything because I didn't finish Moon Knight, but
yeah, that I couldn't finish it either. It was kind of boring. So.
Oh, I loved it. I finished it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, wow. How do I follow up that? I just think he's got an excellent. Yeah. I just think he's got excellent range. He was in, I think it's called Ex Machina. I think that was the name of it. And he played a very different character from Poe Dameron or not Duncan Idaho, the fucking Dune guy, Leo Atreides. And man just got such good range.
Yeah.
And plus, I think it was such a such a crime. You know, spoiler alert for Dune, that he dies in the first movie. Like, I would have loved to seen more of Oscar Isaac on screen. I don't know. Maybe they'll do something different and
I
bring him
think
back.
you
But
will. If I'm
yeah,
remembering, I believe there's some
No.
flashbacky stuff
Or
yeah, it'll be
flashbacks,
flashbacks
yes.
if they do.
that
I was
bring
like,
him
that
back,
we're
but yeah.
coming up on.
somebody else, I won't spoil it, somebody in the Dune universe gets cloned a lot.
Spoilers.
But it's not him.
Yeah. You don't. Yeah, if you're a movie studio, you don't pay the money to have that guy, and just to have him die in the first half of your story arc. So.
Yeah, he's no true.
I mean, sometimes you do. Hey,
Yeah,
we only have to pay you to be out of here for 2 weeks. Okay, great.
Or if you can only afford James Earl Jones' voice, not his actual his face.
We're going to transition to this to talk about the episode because I'm mad. We're going to get my first Gator hater point here.
Ding. We can do that.
I'm doing it.
He's doing it.
Okay, Vic,
Yes,
what
sir.
is this episode called?
New Ground, right? Yeah, New Ground.
No, Higher Ground.
What?
This episode is called Higher Ground. And we
I thought it was
open
New Ground.
in media dig. They are literally in a hole. And part of the episode, they dig deeper into the hole and find more stuff down. We literally go lower as the episode continues.
Well, it's actually called New Ground. I'm looking at it right
It's
now.
New Ground, yeah.
It is.
Oh, you said Higher Ground when I wrote it down. God, okay. Well, now I'm incredulous for nothing. I will die on any hill.
Well, I mean, I guess it works because in order to have new ground, you're not going to have.
Yeah, they dug it out and now they're finding new
Yeah.
ground. Okay.
Okay.
I guess it's all right.
No, it's old ground. It's distinctly old ground.
It'll be
That's
old-
why there's
new
old
ground.
stuff in it.
Yeah, that's old ground. So if you want new ground, you got to put it on top of the old ground. So
Yeah,
it technically would
get
be
some
higher.
topsoil. Lay it
Your
down.
rage is justified.
Build a
Ben.
raised bed.
Okay.
All right, we got season 3, episode 19, New Ground. This is our 5th or 6th episode of Stargate that we've watched. If you're tuning in for the first time, bless your heart. We are a podcast that picks a show that none of us have ever seen, watch the pilot, roll some dice, skip a ton of episodes, watch that next one, and try to guess what happened in the previous episodes while watching the one that we've mysteriously landed upon. We play a couple of games with this. We have our Last Times On, where a host will explain things that happened they feel in a previous episode. We have our Wahapahers, which are a offensive Last Time On, where a host will force another host to explain things. And then we have our Let's Get Weird with It, where all hosts have to make a off-the-cuff, most ridiculous suggestion they can think of to explain something. We open on some humans unearthing a Stargate. And we find SG1 is getting their first hit on the cold dialing program, which was mentioned in the pilot.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
except
taken
there was
3
Sam's
years.
idea. Yeah.
Also, this makes me really mad because it means that Major Carter invented the robo-dialer.
Greetings, friend. Bang.
She is why I'm getting all these awful texts trying to sign me up for Medicaid and telling me about my
God.
car's extended warranty.
God, you get texts, they won't stop with the phone calls with me, and I got a robot voice if I pick it up. It's the worst, and they always leave messages. I get like 6 per day. Ah, damn you,
So-
Carter.
Thank you, Major Carter. Jerk. Should have joined NASA.
The Stargate opens and they send their robot through. And they talk to the
Fred's
locals
back.
through
No,
that
'cause
robot.
This isn't Fred.
This
That's
isn't
Fred,
Fred,
man.
It's
That is
Moppet
so
or
Fred.
something.
No, it's a Malp, but Fred is a Malp, but Fred got an upgrade. That's what I'm going with. That's what happened. That's what happened.
I'm going to go
No.
last time on. Fred got blown up.
No, he did. No,
Oh.
you will not Kowalski Fred.
Last time on, not only did Fred get blown up, Fred
No.
heroically sacrificed himself with a tactical nuke.
Oh, I can get behind that. Oh, was Fred the one that blew up Apophis's pyramid ship? I can get down with
Probably,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying Fred is the one who saved our crew from the season 2 finale. Teal'c and Fred saved the day.
Teal'c and Fred. Oh my god, that would be epic.
But no, they send our new Fred. What do they call it? I'm
Let's
looking
call it
at
a
my
malt.
notes.
Malt.
I think
The
it's
malt?
mechanical appliance laundry
They
program. Yeah.
end up talking to these archaeologists who dug out the gate. We've
Yep.
got Nyan, who's sideburns. He's mostly sideburns.
Yeah.
And his lady archaeologist companion, Malin. And they
Yep.
just send the robot through and just like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, which, by the way, in the opening, there were 3 of them originally.
Yeah, and one of them
There was
just
a third
gone.
person there that just disappeared. I'm wondering if, what the hell? I want to know what happened to the third person.
They say to avoid the bloom of the Stargate.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
That's what I thought originally happened.
Maybe they got bloomed. I don't know if that's
yeah,
a thing that
got
eats
bloomed.
people. I assume that's what happens.
It can't be good if you stand in the path of that thing.
Yeah.
So.
Nyan is talking, but he's like, oh, the legends must be true of the ancients and our people coming from other worlds. Oh no. And we hear about the war between the Bedrosians, who are now definitively proven wrong, and the Optricans, who are now definitively proven right.
The optometrists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ophthalmologists are their leaders. Malin is like, oh hell no, and she just runs away.
Yeah, she narcs. Dude, what the hell, dude? Malin is a
Yep.
snitch. That's her role in this entire episode.
The Bedrosians arrive, and they are significantly more advanced than expected.
And I thought it was interesting that Malin runs off, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just have to say for the record here, she must be the Bedrosian track and field cross country star, because she ran. It was what, like 3 minutes in between the time that that she ran off, and then they come back in reinforcements in fucking hovercraft. They have to fly over. Like, how far did she run?
Oh yeah.
They have to come
Yeah.
back in fucking spaceships.
And they landed. They've got these guns. If Trek has dustbusters, these are Dyson textile irons. These things
Oh
are
yeah, they look like
ridiculous.
irons.
Yeah.
One thing I did appreciate in this episode, that it is something that has always bugged me about a lot of sci-fi, Trek in particular. Nyan, the sideburns archaeologist, starts explaining like, okay, so you being here is weird because you've not only proved I'm on the wrong side of a war, but also my god might not exist. And I'm trying to roll with that as best I can, but it's also kind of like hitting me deep. But you are here on the continent of Bedrosia, where we think we came from. And that's why we're the Bedrosians. And I'm just like, hey, if this was Star Trek, they would have just called it the Southeastern Continent. Like, they actually named the continent like people do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every planet is just unified in most sci-fi things, which is just, I feel, is very unrealistic.
Yeah.
So.
We cut over to Teal'c stalking in some brush, and I paused here. Like, as soon as we see him and we see him watch the dude, I pause because I'm so excited. I'm all like, are we gonna get Reverse Predator episode with Teal'c?
You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
Oh, that would have been
Teal'c
such
is
a good
just
episode.
Stalking bitches this whole episode and just taking people out from the brush, and just from his perspective. Oh, this is gonna be so good. I'm so excited for this. I unpause and he gets got immediately.
It's shot right in the face.
Yeah, Teal'c shoots a guy and it somehow blows up in his face, and he is down. Just some nasty burns, like dead center in his face.
Yeah, he simultaneous right
and
off the bat.
The rest of our
disappointing.
Yeah, and the rest of our SG1 crew are captured with containment walls and knocked out. And Malin shows up and he's like, see, those are the guys. And they're like, go back to base. You're not in this episode anymore.
The Bedrosian leader won't let them fire up the Stargate. He believes them to either be full of shit or refuses to let anyone believe about the Stargate. He sets up quarantine. Whether or not he actually thinks he believes them, it's kind of ambiguous. He definitely doesn't want to believe them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this episode deals with, by the end of it I liked it, but at first I did not like it because it deals with what I hate most about humanity, and that is the human nature to refuse to be wrong. Like, even when you have definitive proof in front of you, it's a typical human nature to just be, what's the word I'm looking for? More and more.
Incalcitrant?
Obstinate.
Yeah, those are both great words. Yeah, probably better than what I was thinking of. Just to be stubbornly
A
defiant
jerk.
and just be a dick and just dig in, even though you know you're wrong. You guys are on Facebook. You run into this shit all the time. People who are fucking wrong, and you prove them wrong, and they refuse to be wrong, and they just and that's what this entire episode is about. On top of a religious thing, which makes it even worse for me.
I,
So
as
irritated.
and I'm sorry to go to this well again, but as a religion major, the one thing I did feel about this was just like, man, you just happen to have a civil war with two religions where there is like something you can absolutely non-metaphysically prove. Like, hey, we found a space travel gate, or we can find like existence of like, hey, here's 3,000-year-old bones. Boom! I proved we existed here more than 2,000 years ago, and therefore
Don't
I
open
am
up
right.
that can of worms.
Yeah, it's not like, I can walk around and be like, hey, I found this flying spaghetti monster over here. And so it was definitely like, I understood what the writers were going for, but I was
Mhm.
also, it's a little writerly convenient to be, hey, we just happen to have a religion fragile enough that you finding a Stargate would like completely destroy everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. So the Bedrosian military here resumes digging as we find out that Teal'c is alive. He's just very badly burned.
I'm still alive, only I'm very badly burned.
Before we get to that, though, they
Well,
take some
yeah.
blood samples from all three of them.
Yes, that will come up
Yeah.
in a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Which is
Okay.
also one of those funny things about Stargate is that humans are like the cockroaches of the galaxy. We are just freaking everywhere.
Yeah.
And so they take this as proof as like, you guys are human. So you must be, if you're not Bedrosian, you must be opticians trying to trick us. You can't
Mhm.
be from a different planet.
Mhm.
And so it's one of those things where it's like, with the technology we see these people have, they are probably 100 years from being out there in space and being like, oh man, humans are freaking everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, before we do move on, though, one thing I wanted to address is, like, it's one of the very first thing. Daniel Jackson, before they go through the gate, Daniel Jackson wants to volunteer to go through, and Colonel O'Neill is kind of like, whoa, hold up. We don't see a DHD, and they scan the robot around, and there's like, does anybody see a DHD? So what I want to ask is, Ben, what happened here?
What the hell happened? But I got the van.
What's a DHD?
Oh, we know what a DHD is. I
You do?
don't know what the acronym stands for. It
No.
is the panel.
Yeah.
Uh,
Give it an acronym. What's the acronym?
okay,
for
so the
DHD?
acronym is it is the dial home dialer. O'Neill came up with it just to piss Dan Jackson and Major Carter off. Just use the dial home dialer, and it just stuck.
That's probably just exactly it too.
it feels right. It's like, is that the name? Like, Hammond is back there, like, is that the name you're gonna call it? And it's like, yes, it is. Yes, it is, General.
Well, what the hell?
Damn it, Bobby.
But he also tells them to just in case bring a Naquita reactor with them.
Yeah, that's got to be a gift from someone. Maybe the turtle people from a couple episodes ago. Or the Takra.
The what was it? I hope it was the furlings that was
We haven't met
mentioned.
the furlings yet.
Yeah, I hope
We
it's them.
haven't. They
And
might
I hope they're
have.
furry. I hope they're little Ewoks. Anyway, sorry about that. I wrote that down, but yeah.
I wrote it down as well, so good calling it out.
All right.
So the DNA gets analyzed, and they do say that they're a 97% match.
And I wanted to point out that that they brought over that big ass needle to jam into their necks, and these people, they've got artificial gravity, they got force fields, they got magic iron sticks that shoot lightning bolts, but the only way that they can take blood is with the big fucking needle jammed in your neck. So that's how I feel about modern technology whenever I have to go to the doctor and I get a prostate exam. It's like, wow, really, with all the technology we have in the world today, the only way that you have to check that is by doing that.
Yeah,
is this really necessary?
This feels more amateur state than pro state.
There's your TMI for the episodes.
But we find out that the Bedrosians, they believe in Nefertum, and
was it the Blue Lotus creature?
Yeah, and Dan Jackson's just like, the Blue Lotus? Like, yeah, we know that. It's Egyptian mythology. And I'm like, ooh, we're back to Egyptian mythology. Yay. Sorry, Xhafer, in your hopes that we end up on, any other pantheon planet.
Yep. Hindu planet or...
it's not like, oh man, Maui said we came from here.
What can I say except you're welcome?
And it's like, hey, we're expanding our horizons.
While they're talking, the commander presses the issue. The truth is that they are right regardless of anything else. Current plan, kill them all.
Yep. Make them confess or just blow it all up.
Yep.
And we also cut back to Nyan and Teal'c, and Teal'c is just like, we must go rescue them. And he's like, you're blind, dude. We find out
apparently
that...
sorry, I was going to say, apparently the Bedrosian weapons are powered by pink eye. That's what
pink eye's a bad time. You don't want pink eye.
Because the thing is, you saw how pointy, like, the ends of their weapons look like irons. You just reach back there, do a little bit of scratch, and then, oh no, you're giving pink eye. It's doing poison damage.
Oh, gross. That's what happened. The goon didn't wash his weapon before he shot Teal'c in the face with it.
But I do appreciate, like, Teal'c is a cool badass. He is not a cool badass on the level of, like, some other sci-fi aliens where it's just like, even without my eyes, I can take on 12 guards. I am just so much cooler and so much better. And it's like, then why do we need the human characters at all? Teal'c is ready to go in, but he could not actually take out these 20 goons and save his friends. And so Nyan is absolutely right. Like, dude, just chill out for a minute. I can go get some stuff to help you. And he goes to try and get some supplies, and Teal'c knocks himself out running into a wall during a bat attack.
Yeah, what was the point of those bats? That's like, I wrote that down as like, what? Why are there bats in this episode?
Well, Victor,
they're not even
I can tell you.
They're like little dragons if you look at them.
I can tell you, this is Teal'c's origin story for when he becomes Dragon Man. And he becomes
the Dragon Man, yeah.
He becomes the terror that flaps in the night.
Let's get dangerous.
Coming after all of the ghouls.
Oh man, that would have been awesome. He emerges from the Bat Cave, with a costume and rescues the team, and goes on to fight crime back on Earth. Yep.
Yeah. Before Nyan leaves, he's really sure that he can convince his fellow academics that they were wrong here. 1 in 10 dentists doesn't approve of toothpaste, right? Like,
Yeah.
is Nyan the 9 or the 1? That's whenever I hear a single scientist make a claim, that's the question I always ask myself.
See, my thought here is, and I think I'm with Nyan on this one, where okay, O'Neill, Carter, Dan Jax, the Stargate itself. There are always going to be people who are like, the Stargate was an inside job. This isn't real. Teal'c is an alien.
Visibly. Yeah.
Yes, he is by every metric not human. He's got a belly pouch. And so for plenty
he's got
of
the
people,
golden funnel cake on his forehead that shows he's an alien. Yep.
Yeah, for plenty of people, they could rationalize a way to say, like, hey, the Optricans, they believe this. They have gone to extreme lengths to prove it. Okay, here's an alien. You know what? Now I see that I'm like taking 12 steps when one step will do. So even if not everybody believes, there will be enough people who are just like, okay, alien, that it'll have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something like that. What would be a good metaphor? Like, what would be a deeply held belief of mine that would like shatter? I guess if I went to space and I actually saw the Earth was flat, I'd be really pissed and be like, no, no.
I mean,
why is there this giant ice wall?
Yeah, the assholes
Fair.
were right.
how was science this wrong?
Yeah.
We were wrong about math, everyone. How did we get to space being wrong about math? And the answer is a shit ton of rocket fuel.
Yes,
You
big
don't
enough
need
boom
math.
beats math.
Yep.
We cut back to
we
SG1,
get back to-
and they are in some real eyes wide shut level kink kennels here.
Yes, they are in like legit dog kennels.
Yeah,
And
electrified dog kennels. It seems.
this actually makes me kind of mad, because the bad guy leader is trying to interrogate them, and every time O'Neill is an asshole, he shocks Dan Jax, and O'Neill keeps doing it, and he keeps shocking Dan Jackson, and it's just like, O'Neill, stop it, man.
He don't give a fuck. He's not getting shocked.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
It's like, come on. But yeah, he's trying to get them to confess, and then finds out that just as he's about to like start murdering them, hey, sir, come outside right now. We found something. And we found our DHD, our dial home dialer.
Which, okay, this was a problem for me in this episode because they said that they were digging here. See what they were digging for. Who was digging? I think
The archaeologists.
But they weren't digging there. They were digging out the gates from the wall. That's what. Yeah, that's gotta be the thing.
He found a mound.
There was a little bit
like,
where they had found the mound. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a little mound that prior to the excavation had some foliage. He was on this grassy knoll. And this is part of my Optrican conspiracy theory. There was the third archaeologist on the grassy knoll finding the DHD.
You know, thinking about it, Ben, I think you are 75-80% right with the name of the DHD. Although I think
the dial home dialer.
I think it's Dial Home Daniel.
Dial Home Daniel.
I think O'Neill said that off the cuff, like Dial Home Daniel, and it just became the DHD because he always says that. He's like, "Go dial us home, Daniel." He says it every time. So
it's the Dial Home Daniel. It's the Daniel Home Dialer. Daniel Home Dialer. That's what it is. Yep. DHD. Yep. Perfect.
Teal'c has a real rough
dial
go here.
Home, Colonel O'Neill.
They keep the military guys keep looking at this pile of guns on the table and never do anything with it. And I was really hoping we'd get some cracks about that archaic rock throwing technology.
I was just gonna say they seem to. I mean, practically, Earth guns seem to work better than most of the alien weapons we've run into so far, with the exception of that cool little snake phaser. That thing's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sticks, like as soon as the Bedrosians showed up and they have their own version of the Jaffa sticks, I was just like, how is it that every alien race comes to the same conclusion that
That lasers are
big
cool.
laser sticks? No, but they put them on
Lasers
the
are
big
cool.
sticks. Yeah, they are cool, but why do they put them on sticks? Like holding sticks, like the same thing the Jaffa use.
Well,
Like,
and it makes me mad because, well, the snake pistols have ruined my overall prediction. They're still running around with guns, and everybody else has laser guns.
The commander starts asking about Teal'c.
Yeah.
The team keeps deflecting to the science behind how the Stargate works, hoping this will convince. And Daniel just can't help himself but tell the zealot how his god isn't real, everything is a lie, and how he's a big old dum-dum. So he gets the iron for this.
Yes, he does.
Yep.
But then our Stargate opens and Hammond is just like, hey, everybody okay? What's going on? And our commander knows how to use a human radio. And it's just like, we control your people now. We will not fall for your optrican tricks.
Oh, no. I am not worried about him looking at that device and knowing how it works, because that's a walkie-talkie. It has 3 buttons. It has up, down, and a hold button.
But you don't know how many people don't know that you have to let go of the button to hear the other person talk. Like, seriously, this is a problem. I don't like to drop this piece of trivia a lot because I don't want to be that guy. But yeah, 20 years in the Army, I've met plenty of fucking privates who don't know to let go of the fucking button. So,
I would have accepted that, Xhafer. I would have accepted this, Xhafer, if there was a 30-second scene of just Hammond listening to the squelch.
Like, there is no way Alien Man knows to let go of the button to let the other guy talk. Anyway, that was a trigger I didn't realize I had.
Nyan Cat catches Teal'c up.
I was wondering who was going to be the first to do that.
Wait, I got a better cut of that. Nyan Cat catches Teal'c with his pants down, playing with his gold.
Yes, he walked in with his hand in his pouch, fondling his worm. What the hell? And the first thing he says was, "Oh, I didn't think you were coming back." What the fuck was up with this?
Yeah, so apparently his belly worm is injured and it has to heal itself before it can heal him. And Nine is like, how about some experimental surgery with something made for different aliens? And Teal'c finally acquiesces and we get some eye lasers.
But I am the leader of the X-Men.
Oh, the leader. Yeah, so great. What, are you going to lead us to the hospital after you winked at Rogue and took off her torso?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the eye doctor in a box.
As somebody with glasses, I would love this.
His vision does start to return here. Daniel refuses to give Teal'c up as the Stargate chevrons lock in. This is where General Hammond tries reaching the team. The Bedrosian commander responds. They turn on the camera on the BattleBot and see the crew in cages.
This makes me so mad because, like, they see the crew in cages, and we see that the Dan Jax is in there, just like, no, stop it, stop what you're doing. And Hammond's like, move it around, look around, pan over there, and Jax is just like, stop it. He's like, what's that idiot doing? Look around, drive around.
I just appreciate the fact that they have this procedure in place, because it was going to piss me off. Like, they send it's just a standard procedure that they send the Stargate team, they open up the gate, they send the team through. If you don't hear back from them for a little while, dial it up again. I'm glad that they did this, because it's just one of those things it's like, yeah, they're obviously in trouble if you don't hear back from them within a certain amount of time. And I just wish they would have sent another drone through to be all just like, hey, send a drone with some guns, or at least like a arm with a baseball bat or something, and be like, knock it off, give us our people back, quit it, you know.
And what I appreciate here is our commander, he's not an idiot. He sees something pushing on the wall of the hut that they're in, and he's like, okay, we've captured some very important people here. Even though we don't believe their lies, something is going on. And you know what we're not going to do? Keep them right here where we captured them. We're going to send them back to a bigger base. We're not going to dick around and keep them here at this tiny base on Mars for 2 weeks.
Well, you can't have a corned beef sandwich for breakfast. It would upset your stomach. Corned beef sandwiches are for lunch.
As Vic pointed out, I do appreciate that they have the, hey, we haven't heard from our guys. Call them up and see what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I'm asking you guys, what happened to her? Why did they develop this this procedure?
The procedure to move them off site?
No. For Hammond to call them back up and check on them. Yeah. What shenanigans did they get trapped in? Where they're just like, hey, call us back.
I'm going to say
call for help.
I'm going to say that Daniel Jackson was all just like, hey guys, hear me out. What if what's another pantheon we haven't seen yet?
The Greeks.
Coco Pelli.
They found we know from our predictions and the DMT labs that there is a Celtic planet.
No, there's not. We just had some people got.
There was a Greek planet.
Was it a Greek planet? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had
Planet Falafel.
Greeks, Romans. Let's go with Voodoo Planet. Or yeah.
Okay.
That he was like, hear me out. What if what's the name of the actual I don't know. Daniel Jackson just decides, hey, there's more alien gods out there that we can be allies with that'll help us fight Apophis. And they go check them out, but it's like Friday in the afternoon. It's almost 5:00, and they're like, Daniel, come on, man, we want to go home. We want to go hit happy hour. The guys will make it quick. And so they dial it up. Team gets sent out, and it's a fucking spider planet, and they get captured and spun up in a web and stuck in little web cocoons. Meanwhile, the rest of the SG1 crew are back in Cheyenne Mountain, are all just like, yeah, all right, well, you know, they don't need us. They're fine. Let's go. Clock out. And they're stuck there on Spider Planet for 3 days until Monday when they come back in and like, oh fuck, are those guys not back yet? You know.
All right, I got a different answer for you. So, what do we know about Showtime, the TV station in the 90s?
That's the only place where you can see
needlessly horny. Needlessly horny. What do we know about sci-fi shows in the late 90s, early 2000s?
What's the
needlessly horny? We've got a Venn diagram here, and Stargate's in the center of it, and I refuse to accept there is not a needlessly horny episode of the show in its early seasons back when it was on Showtime. It had to have happened. They were on Planet Bordello or something. Like, there was some weird shit.
Bordello planet.
Yes. They open up the gate. Dan Jackson just comes back and he's like half desiccated. He's just like, I need liquid. Give me water.
Give me an IV stat and 3 broads. Anyways, Teal'c and Nyan here are making their way to the base when they fire a shot at a transport. They miss, causing it to land. They get the guards, get on board, and mount their rescue mission by immediately crashing the ship.
Yeah.
It's an awesome plan.
This plan actually goes pretty good for a not having hit anyone with the shuttle.
Yes. I did appreciate, so they crash the shuttle. Nyan runs out and he's just like, there's a guy out there in the woods and I just barely escaped. And please help me. And then they immediately just start like shooting all these confused guys. And Nyan immediately shoots 2 people, and it's just like, welcome to the big leagues, Mr. Archaeologist.
Yeah. I guess the sticks are kind of user friendly,
They also have a fortunate stun setting.
Yep, they make their way. O'Neill goes for Teal'c. The commander gets Nyan, but he's carried through the Stargate as more shuttles come in. Dan, they make it through the Stargate. Everyone makes it through the Stargate.
With one cool thing, when they open it up, back at the SGC, they're like, hey, somebody's opening a portal. And now they've got two-factor authentication. It's like, hey, did we get a signal from SG1? No, we did not. Close that iris. Close it right now. I don't know what's coming through, but it's going to hit a wall.
Yeah, it's kind of like caller ID.
Yeah.
God, dude, remember the time before we had caller ID? Good Lord.
I do.
It was dark ages, man.
I feel like I had caller ID in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
Is that my privilege showing?
Did you only if you had a cordless phone?
No. No,
Yeah.
we had a phone that had an answering machine built in and had caller ID.
Oh, but was it a cassette or was it remember, did you have to change the tape? You didn't have to change the tape.
I think it had tapes.
Now, the important question, did you record your own family personalized voicemail message?
Oh, 100%. And it was the Three Stooges, hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
With me, my mom, and my sister.
I find that highly offensive.
No, you don't, because
that
you refuse
is Curly
to name your
appropriation.
son Lawrence Maurice Curly. You don't get to get upset when I do Three Stooges stuff. You had the chance to name your son Larry Moe Curly. You chose not to. I will not abide this.
It's my culture. I can treat it how I wish. One thing I will sadly admit, for a while, like a few years, our voicemail message was the Grease theme song. Grease is the word. Have you heard? And then my dad would come on and say, "Leave your word at the beep." And I did not want my friends calling my house in case we didn't pick up in time.
High school Ben was not giving out his number to girls.
No, I mean, nobody wanted it anyway. And I don't blame them.
I'm sure that's empirically not true, Ben. You were just unaware. I promise.
It's possible.
Has someone who's driven next to you and honked and waved at you because I've run into you on streets before and had you completely ignore me? I promise you missed the signs.
Oblivious Ben.
It's happened at least a dozen times in my life where I've seen you on the road and you did not notice me despite me honking my horn and waving at you.
Why is somebody honking? Somebody must be doing something. I'm not in a car. I don't know. I didn't cut that person off. It's not my problem.
Nice.
All right. So this episode wraps up real quick. Everyone gets through the Stargate. Dan offers Nyan a job as his research assistant. Once he's got all these artifacts he's recovered, and he hasn't had time to catalog them. So theoretically, Nyan is going to be a reoccurring character.
He's going to be running the trophy room. He's going to see all of their trinkets when they stole that guy's wallet.
What my immediate question I had when this happened was is he a reoccurring character, or is this just something they do?
That sounds
regularly?
Like a great prediction to make. But before we make those predictions,
we,
we should roll some dice and see how far ahead we're going.
Well, but before we wrap up this episode, I just want to say I appreciated this. I give this episode 4 out of 5 Babylons. It's I didn't like it at first, but with the ending, with the way that they just didn't do the typical '90s sci-fi, finger wagging soapboxing thing where they try to make the sides reconcile their differences. They're just like, nope, fuck this planet. We're coming home. Shut the gate. Close the iris. We're not going back to that planet again. Those guys are dicks.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm not
Thanks,
gonna
Major Carter.
I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to say it right now. If you and Ben, after we're done with this, decide to do a podcast where you go back and watch all this show, you should rate shows on a scale of 1 to 7 chevrons. That is my gift to you.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. I'm not going to do
I
that.
do have one more. I've got one more question for you guys about the episode. So, huge firefight. The people who don't believe in the Stargate now are, they all got shot by a bunch of aliens who jumped through it. Malin is totally murdered, right?
Oh, yeah.
Back at that
Can't
other
wait.
base.
Yeah.
So it's,
Probably.
I hope
Yeah.
you are happy, you jerk off, you couldn't have waited, 2 minutes to talk to these people, and now you're murdered.
Yeah. I love how Nyan Cat just has no qualms about leaving his home behind. Is like, fuck that planet. They're a bunch of dicks. I'll come live here in this strange world I know nothing about. That doesn't have lasers apparently or hovercraft.
You guys got sideburns there? Oh yeah, man. It's the
Sideburns?
late
All right, I'm
90s,
in.
early 2000s. People love sideburns. You'll fit right in.
All right.
Well,
Do we want to go over the prediction results from last time?
Lincoln, what are you doing up there?
Guessing? I guess no one's coming.
You ruined the prophecy.
Do you have those in from the lab, Vic?
they're coming in just a second. I'm curious to roll the dice. I want to know. I'm actually excited now. I hate to say it. I hate to admit it, but it's true. I'll admit it. I'm digging the show. It's different. It's
No
not.
Gator
It's
hater
not what
points
I
from you this
expected.
episode.
Yeah. No Gator hater points, except for the one about the guy at the beginning who just disappeared.
Yeah.
But I can get over it. But yeah, I'm actually invested in this show now. So I'm excited to watch another episode.
And we're
All
going
right,
to launch.
let's hear them dice roll.
All right, that is a 14,
Ooh.
which takes us to season 4, episode 11, Point of No Return.
What? No way. Point of no return. That's a isn't that the name of a Babylon 5 episode?
Probably.
I think
Sounds
so,
like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it sounds like
Yeah,
it.
Point of no return. Yeah.
Uh,
And then frame of mind or out of mind. Yeah, they're
oh yeah, Point of No
Yeah,
Return
yeah.
is the name of season 3, so it's definitely the name of an episode of Babylon 5.
yeah.
It's a season name episode. Stargate Command is contacted by a rambling individual who claims to possess full knowledge of a host of government conspiracies, from the Kennedy cover-up to CIA-sanctioned microwave harassment of libertarian candidates.
You are making this up. That's what it actually says.
That's what it actually says.
I am so invested in this episode in the series now. That is awesome. Oh man.
So we'll make some predictions in a few, but let's pull up the lab results here and see how we're doing.
Yep. Let me just pull those up. I've got the results from the lab coming in right now. Oh, there they are.
Once again, we can do it in post, Vic.
I'm never gonna stop, sir. Hang on, I actually just got a text from Angela right now. Let me just text her back. I'm recording podcast now. Can't talk. Whatever. I'll just text her later. Okay. Pull up the results here. All right. Oh gosh, and I meant to get a running total again.
I got
That's
mine.
okay.
I went through
really?
and tallied up mine because.
God, you guys are so awesome. I gotta say.
Did you do yours, Ben?
No.
Slacker.
I
right.
went through and checked off all the ones that I've gotten right so far, but I don't have a number.
Yeah, I can figure that out because when I post these, I usually post the daytime first, and then then the prime time, then the evening. Yeah. So anyway, okay. Oh, and by the way, when I sent this one down to the lab, I forgot to lock the poll so that people can't add their own options. And some of you, talking to you, DMT Research Lab, you lab rats, some of you guys graffitied the poll. You started adding options. You're not supposed to do that. That defeats the whole purpose. You can't add your own options here. Someone added yeehaw. Like, what the hell does that even mean? Yeehaw. And then someone else added the team faces off with a Belgian Guauld. Like a Belgian? What the guys.
One of my
guys are
predictions for
terrible.
this week was that someone was going to add yeehaw to the poll, so I'll take my poll.
Oh, of course, yeah. Fucking time traveler. Okay. All right. So, who had Clancy Brown?
I had Clancy Brown shows up.
That was you. Yeah. Okay. Again, some of the research lab don't understand how this works because they voted on it. And I'm sorry, I went and I checked Clancy Brown's IMDb profile, and there is no Stargate. He's been in Star Wars. He's been in Star Wars. He's been in Star Trek. He has not been in Stargate.
Okay.
Unless he made a secret uncredited appearance. Actors do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that still would have been on IMDb.
Okay.
But even though
I think that was
7 people vote on it, 7 people voted. All right, I'm gonna have to go back and confirm this because if there's 7 people, I don't know if they were just being idiots or if they were actually.
I'll trust IMDb. Brown. It's fine.
Yeah. Let's see. Your next prediction was SG1 teams up with a Guauld.
Yeah, both Ben and I had this one.
Yeah, that's right. And wow, I must have had some tequila when I posted this because I just now noticed my typo. SG1 tealks up with a Guauld.
Hey.
But with 8 votes and a confirmation from Angela the gatekeeper, that I'm gonna say that one is correct. So that apparently happens a few times.
All right.
Hey.
And your next prediction was Plato was an alien?
Yeah.
No, Plato was not an alien.
All right. That brings
Plato never comes up in the series.
That brings my running total to 10.
Hey, that's nice. Let's see. Okay, and next up are my predictions. I predicted that other nations get involved with the Stargate program with 19 votes, 33% of the votes. That's a correct. It usually tells me how many people voted on this, but not this time. That's strange. Okay, and my next prediction was Teal'c liberates a group of Jaffa. Only 4 votes, but I got a confirmation from the gatekeeper on that one.
All right.
That's correct. Apparently happens a few times as well. And my third prediction was the U.S. president gets possessed by a Guauld. Apparently I came close. Some of these guys came close to spoiler territory and said they said close. Someone gets possessed, but not the president. Apparently someone really important gets Guaulded, but not the U.S. president.
So somebody really important in the early 2000s. You say it's Harry Connick Jr.
I thought you were going to say the Backstreet Boys. Okay, let's see. So I think these next 2 predictions are yours, Ben. Teal'c rescues the SG1 team from Hathor. I did get confirmation that one is correct.
Yeah.
As well as there are quite a few clip shows apparently. Because your next prediction was there are at least 2 more clip shows. I hate to say spoiler alert. Apparently there was a clip show in season 1.
Oh dang. Okay, so that I actually ran the table with my predictions last time.
Yeah, you got all 3
so
of them right.
That takes me up to 14 points.
Oh damn.
Nice.
And that's I completely blanked out last episode, so that I'm feeling good now.
Well, last episode was the clip show, wasn't it? The last one that we did.
Yeah. The last one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the finale where Hathor. It ends on the cliffhanger with with Hot Hathor has the the team. So okay, let me write this down. So Ben is at 14, and Xhafer, you're at 10.
Yeah.
I'm going to be embarrassed to run my total. I'm probably terrible. So,
There's a
all
lot
right,
of
let's get some
episodes
new
left.
predictions going.
All right, give me 1 second. I need my prime time.
After this,
No problem.
After this next episode, we will still only be about halfway through the series. So
It's true. We got a long way to go.
We got some episodes to watch.
We have a long road to get there from here. All right, time for our new predictions.
All right, I can start us off. My daytime prediction: at some point, Daniel gets a field commission. They're there with some other soldiers. O'Neill and the Major are not there, so he has to accept a field commission to be in charge of the mission to outrank the actual soldiers that they're with. Whether or not it sticks, I don't think so, but that's not part of my prediction. Just at some point, field commission. He gets a rank at some point.
All right.
My evening. The team finds a game on an alien planet and plays it in a later episode. So, like,
wait, is this an Alan Moraine thing?
Not necessarily. I'm not discounting the possibility of it being an Al Moraine or the disc go in hole game from TNG kind of a thing.
Oh, that would be an amazing crossover.
But it's really more of a, like, we at some point, like in a couple episodes, they're playing Bedrosian poker or something. Like, probably not from this world, given how everything went. But at some point, they're playing some game that's a callback to a previous episode instead of like poker or euchre or some Earth game.
They play an alien game.
Yep.
Okay.
And then my prime time, we've seen them fight lots of cultures with, like, most of the cultures they've experienced have been either no weapons cultures or advanced weapons cultures. At some point, they will land on a planet, if they haven't already, with older weapons, and someone is getting arrowed.
Oh,
someone on this team is taking an arrow. It probably has happened, to be perfectly honest. I'm guessing this happened back in season
Planet.
1.
Someone takes an arrow to the knee.
An arrow to anywhere, but yeah, takes an arrow.
Bonus points if it's the knee.
Sure, I'll go ahead and throw a bonus prediction. They take an arrow to the knee.
That would be great. All right,
all right. Victor, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. Okay, so first, my daytime prediction, or wait, daytime's first, right? Yeah, daytime.
Yep.
I'm never gonna get this right. Okay. Teal'c rides a motorcycle. That's it.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
I don't care if it's an alien motorcycle, if it's a Earth motorcycle, a Harley, a Kawasaki, whatever. He's gonna ride a motorcycle at some point. That just has to happen. Now, continuing with my trend of theme predictions, I'm going to predict that we're going to get a courtroom episode.
All right.
And for bonus points, I'm going to say that the courtroom episode, it's going to be General Hammond on trial for murdering the journalist by running him over with a car.
I don't.
What the hell? What was you talking about? I didn't run anybody over with a car. And for my final prediction, I'm going to say that Cherie becomes a villain.
Kind of is.
Well, no. Well, I'm okay. To be more specific,
it's not the worm that's a villain. She's the villain.
Well, she tries to fight it, because the last time we saw her, she was able to resist control of it. I'm going to say that in a big twist and a big unexpected curveball, she loses completely, and the Goa'uld takes over completely, and Cherie becomes the big bad villain. Okay, let me reword this. Cherie becomes a system lord, a Goa'uld system lord.
Okay.
And I already did one bonus, but I'm pretty sure they're setting it up to where Daniel Jackson has to take her down. He has to end her.
Either one. Okay.
Yep. That's totally what they're building up to.
All right. Well, talking a little bit at the beginning of this episode about our old podcast, Draft the Universe, Jafar.
Actually, I
And
listened to an episode of that earlier today.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Which one?
Just the anime. It was like an autoplay on my Spotify, but I just let it roll. It's fun.
I thought it was, I shared this with Jafar. It was really cool. A friend of mine, I told her about the podcast and she listened to a lot of it on Spotify, and she shared her Spotify Wrapped, and I'm like, my podcast is on there. The podcast that hasn't put out a new episode in 5 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You are the only person who Draft the Universe is showing up on your Spotify Wrapped. Like, this is so cool. But thinking about that made me think about gambits, which is something we used to do where all of my predictions now are going to have a theme for this episode. And also, you guys mentioning that Point of No Return is a theme across different sci-fi. I'm going to say my daytime prediction. At least 2 Trek actors are notable guest stars on SG1.
Oh, that's a gimme. Yeah.
It was
Well,
a daytime.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We've already had Quark. So you don't need one more. So, yeah.
My evening prediction.
Well, Quark doesn't count.
At
If
least
we've already
2.
Seen them. You can't predict things that
at
already
least-
happened.
Hey, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. There was a clip show episode.
Yes, it is. We watched it. If we hadn't seen it, not a problem. But we saw it, and you know. So
I'm
we'll say
happy
Quark doesn't
with it
count.
being 2 people, not Armin Shimmerman.
yeah, or just 3. That either works.
Yeah. My evening prediction: at least 2 Babylon 5 actors are guest stars.
Yeah, that's going to be a little more.
And my prime time: at least 2 Battlestar Galactica characters are guest stars. And from the time period this is in, that
From the
means
70s?
original Battlestar Galactica or Battlestar 80.
So not
Oh, God, I forgot
2004.
that's-
Not 2004.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then it wouldn't be, hey, we brought in a notable guest star. Because there wouldn't be a, hey, we know this person is going to be big in 2 years.
I mean, Edward James Olmos was already famous.
Oh, yeah.
There are people in that were already of a certain stardom.
I almost said there are at least 2 actors from Miami Vice, and Edward James Olmos would hit both.
So okay, so you're going with original BSG only,
or Battlestar 80.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the same cast?
Pre-reboot.
Kinda.
No, was
Except
that
they're
the
not
one...
on the spaceship anymore, and there's super Mormon babies.
Okay, I definitely haven't seen this one then. Was that the one where they get back to Earth and they have
motorcycles?
Yeah, the flying motorcycles. That's the only thing I remember about this.
It's the only thing worth remembering.
Hey, super Mormon babies.
What the hell?
The Mormonism is way more out on point in Battlestar 80.
That is so weird because I've been rewatching The Expanse and I just saw the episode where they stole the Mormon spaceship. Space Mormons, man, they're everywhere. Are you with us, Xhafer?
I am.
Yeah, it's your turn.
No, I already did mine.
Wait, no, he already made his.
I know, to take us out.
All right. Well, with all of that said, there's only one thing left to do, and that's say thank you.
To remind our listeners to let go of the button when you're talking on a walkie-talkie, guys. Don't be a hot mic. Okay? Let go of the button. This has been a PSA from last time on.
First off, thanks to Shellock for leaving a 5-star review of our podcast on iTunes.
Woo!
Hey!
Yeah!
I saw that. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I just waved my hands. I didn't say anything. Not great in an audio medium.
No. Ben, if I had to put something on your tombstone.
Not great in an audio medium.
But of course, also we have to thank Ripe for our excellent theme music, Goon Squad. They are announcing some summer plans. Go check them out. They're touring with Orr this summer. They'll be all over the country. And then also check them out on Spotify, Tidal, Google, wherever you listen to music. Go give them a listen. They deserve your time. Fantastic band. Thank you so much.
Thank you, DMT Research Lab, for helping us keep this podcast going. And thank you, Angela Gatekeeper, for your contribution.
And thank you to Annette Lucina for your photograph of a television that you licensed under Creative Commons that we have used for our podcast artwork. Thanks for making free art so we can make free art.
And if you like our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review and we'll give you a shout out on the show. And if you don't like our podcast, just keep that shit to yourself.
Why are you
just hold
why
down
did you
the
make it
button
an
on
hour?
your walkie?
Yeah, what are you still doing here? Why do you listen to things you hate?
And we'll see you next time on Last Time On.
Who's not gonna show you how?